So thank you for the talk.
Absolutely.
When you ask the question, who would keep doing their job if no pay was associated? I work with children, and I know that's the group that my service is meant to go towards.
Yeah.
When I'm feeling unhappy, I work with the kids. When I'm feeling happy, I work with the kids. But the kids are not a cosmic entity, they're kids. So what's the connection one can take from serving a group of kids that we can assume will keep on coming to the divine, the infinite?
Yeah, so essentially these experiences which we have in serving selflessly, like for instance in America, if you've ever been on an airplane before, has anyone been on an airplane? I was just on an airplane today. I flew from Seattle. And I noticed that as soon as you get on the airplane, the first thing they ask is, any active military personnel may now board the plane. Why do you think it is that they're so willing to ask the military personnel? Because even though the military gets a rumination, it's a great sacrifice to be in the military. The idea is that the essential nature of who we are spiritually is self-sacrificing, it's self-giving. So any semblance or any reflection of that which we find in this world is highly appreciated. I guarantee you, everyone in society, because you selflessly serve kids, they appreciate it. Or like if you go to court and you get in trouble with the law, one of the things they ask you to do is do some volunteer service at a Boys and Girls Club, do some volunteer service at a food bank. Because actually that selfless service is valued just as much as a monetary transaction. And that's pointing to the essential nature of who we are as servants. But the thing is, to refine it, the kids are ultimately temporary. And the function of serving them is a temporary engagement. But who you are beyond the body which is changing is inherently spiritual. And the perfection of that selfless service is when that service is directed towards the source of who you are spiritually and the source of who everyone else is spiritually. Just as if you water the root of the tree, every branch and twig in the tree becomes nourished and satisfied. So similarly, when our propensity to serve, which is inseparable from who we are, we can't get away from it, is directed towards the source of all existence, that is the perfection of our spiritual nature. That is the perfection of the human form of life. That is the perfection of existence. Thank you. Very nice question. I deeply appreciated it. Yes.
Thank you for the talk. It was very uplifting. When you think about financial independence, right, there is independence of obligations that you as a person has, and it's very easy to let go of that. If it was just me by myself, then I can probably survive on minimal things, endure discomfort. I can see myself doing that, right? But once you become a householder, once you have kids, or even if you have elder parents, your brothers and siblings, now when you think about financial independence from that perspective, it's so much more harder to let go of the fear, anxiety, because it's no longer about you, it's about the kids that you have brought to the world. It's also about the parents who gave you birth and now depend on you in their old age, right? So while it is, if I have to think about the effort that is needed to let go of the ego versus letting go of the roles that you are supposed to play, I see a big gulf there. And I think if I look at myself, I feel that I can let go of my ego, but I cannot let go of the responsibilities that I have towards people in my life. And I still face a lot of anxiety and fear because of that. So I wanted to see if you had some guidance on how to think about that.
Thank you very much. We all have various roles which we have to play in this world, and that's why the principle of service which fully satisfies ourselves is it's uninterrupted as well as unmotivated. So if our mood of service is based upon us being financially independent, then it's not perfect. But the point is that the roles which we have to play in this world, it may not be so easy for us to step away from, as you're saying. But what the essential principle of self-realization is not stepping away from the roles which you have to play in this world. That's the dilemma which Arjuna is in. He's in a position where he's wanting to step away from the role which he has to play in this world. But Krishna is saying that it's not that you can just step away from your role and everything's going to be satisfied. If you step away from that role without understanding who you are on the level of your identity, spiritually, then walking away from the role which you're playing will simply bring dissatisfaction. So the point is that whatever role you have to play in this world, it's beyond your control in one sense. But in the course of having to play that role in this world, if you can be sincere about finding who you essentially are beyond the changing circumstances of that role and the level of identity, and then you begin to harmonize the role which you have to play in this world with the identity of who you eternally spiritually are, and then whatever the role that you play in this world is, whatever comes out of that, you offer that on the plane of who you are as identity, which means you spiritualize everything in your life. Your family becomes spiritualized. Your bank balance becomes spiritualized. Your home becomes spiritualized because everything that you receive, you're simply offering in gratitude to the source of all existence. And that spiritualizes everything. And by doing that, in a mood of service, in a mood of selflessness, then circumstances within your life will begin to adjust in such a way that, although initially it was just a little bit, slowly it will become the focal of your entire life. It's just like if you have a pot of milk and you boil the milk and then you add a little bit of yogurt. Initially, the yogurt inside the milk is very little. But with time, the entire pot of milk becomes yogurt. So in the same way, an iota of sincerity to offer the circumstances of your life sincerely in service to the source of all existence, that will spiritualize the rest of your life in due course of time. But we just have to be willing to be patient to see the job get done, because it's not going to be done through our own adjustment. It's going to happen according to the cosmic order.
Yep.
But if you have the right intention, everything will become sanctified.
The only thing I wanted to add, thank you very much for the chance. The only thing I wanted to add is, I think the biggest barrier to let go of ego is fear. Fear and anxiety. My reflection is it's easier to let go of fear that is your own versus the fear that is on behalf of somebody else.
So that's why it said that you have to seek out someone who has walked the path sincerely for many, many years. And you take guidance from them. And that fear will be transformed into courage, acting under their guidance. Yeah, 1, 2, anyone else? We're taking orders here. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I
Yes.
just wanted to add to that, maybe to answer further for that. From someone who has lost everyone and everything at the same time and is walking that path, I maybe this can console your fears a little bit. Like, what's a lot of people's biggest fear is no home, no
Yep.
family, no friends, no money.
Yep.
I've had all 4 at the same time, and here I am still sitting here, right?
Absolute toughness. That's what her shirt says.
Thank you. And people thought I was joking, but I'm not. But the thing is, that fear goes away once you realize, wait,
Yep.
those things weren't me. They're not me. My physical and spiritual body is still right here, right now. Lucky to have both.
Mhm.
I mean, essentially we're just one, but you get the point. But so, how I was going to add to that, can we say that our purest service is connected to our greatest joy of who we are, right? Our soul, our spirit. So once you connect to your greatest joy, that people say to you, how do you find your purpose? And they say that quote, what would you do? What do you do normally when there's no money involved, right? And people like to think of it as this tangible thing, but sometimes it's, I'm a great listener, or I'm great at having people be seen or heard or whatever. It can be a lot of different things, but it's the same thing. Like, once you're shedding the ego and you're still doing your joy, it's going to eventually, like you said, come.
Yeah, actually, sometimes the greatest gains in our life are what initially look like setbacks.
Right.
Yeah. I was just at a wedding this weekend, and I was thinking everyone is such a wonderful mood, but I was thinking that actually, in one sense, people are the most sincere not during a wedding, but during a funeral. And that's because generally we're so attached to this world that we need circumstances beyond us to change.
Right.
And show us how temporary those things which we took for granted to be are. And that requires us to look deeper and find something within ourselves which has value, which has substance, and take shelter of that sincerely. Thank you very much for your orchestrated response. I appreciate it very much. 1, 2, 3, 4.
What is meant by dissolving ego? Even if I think I'm offering this to Krishna, suppose, still I'm thinking I'm offering this to Krishna. Still there is I, right? What is meant by giving up on ego or...
Well, we should understand, first of all, everything is coming to us beyond our control. I mean, just think about your life. You're doing very little. So much, I mean, even this body is not our property. You know, our body is breathing, our body is digesting, it's moving blood through the circulatory system, completely beyond our control. So, actually, what do we have? It's just like in India, when you go take a bath in a holy river, you offer the water back to the river, but the water belongs to the river. So in the same way, anything which comes into our life is the property of the divine, and it's coming by the grace of the divine. And when we offer it back, that's aligning ourselves, not for the purpose of the divine, but for the purpose of aligning ourselves with the purpose of the divine. So we just have to be a little bit introspective. What is actually ours? Nothing is ours. Not even this body is ours. Anything which comes into our possession is a gift. And anything which comes into our possession we should offer in gratitude. And anything which we receive back, we just see as grace. Is that okay?
How to overcome this, that I'm doing this?
Well, like I said, who are you? You're not the body. You're not the circumstances in relationship to the body. Everything is coming into your life beyond your control. So what do you actually possess? Generally, our sense of identity is invested into the things that are around us. We think, I did this. I acquired this money. So therefore, I'm entitled to this. I'm entitled to that. We're not entitled to anything. This life can slip away from us at any moment. This body could develop horrible life-threatening disease. We could be dead in a week. So we should understand our sense of identity, our false sense of identity comes by thinking that anything in this world belongs to us. Just like as soon as someone wants to enjoy something, they think this is my family. This is my house. This is my car. It's not. We're not entitled to anything. Everything is coming beyond our control, beyond our perception. And when we understand that, and we see that this is something which I am a caretaker of for the moment, but I am not the owner. And when we understand that, and then we're introspective to draw ourselves within and see anything which I am getting is just ingredients which can be used in service, then our sense of identity is dissolved when everything is being utilized. So it's okay to say I'm offering, but it's not okay to say that I'm offering my property. Your nature is to offer. Your nature is to serve. So you have to do that. You can't get away from it. If you don't do it for a spiritual purpose, you're going to be forced to do it for a material purpose. So preemptively give anything which you have. Preemptively give and utilize in service. And you'll be fully aligned and fully satisfied in all circumstances.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If we don't look at a bigger goal, then we become complacent and lazy. But if we look at a bigger goal and the fear that it will not happen is very, it creates a lot of anxiety. But if you say that we should be detached from the results, then what will make us motivated to achieve the goal? And like if we become
The action itself. The action itself is what should motivate us, because it's not being performed for us to own the result itself. It's being performed completely out of love. Just like a mother, when her child is crying in the middle of the night, she doesn't think, well, this child, is probably going to buy me a nice sweater when I'm 55 years old. So I should go take care of it now so I can get that sweater. But that's not how a mother thinks. A mother is doing it on the basis of love for the child. So in the same way, the best things which are performed in this world are not activities which are performed for money. They are done when they are performed with love. So the motivation of action, when we're performing activity without being attached to the results, the motivation is the motivation of love. And that's why we have to understand the object of our service, and that's why all the texts of the Vedas, the wisdom texts of India, they say you need to organize your life in such a way that the majority of your time is spent in investigating that source of existence. So then your activities can be aligned and performed with love. Because as long as we lack information of that object of love, how can we expect we won't have a higher taste, we won't have a higher conception. So we have to develop love, and we have to act out of love. And that will make anything that we do, whether the result goes our way, it doesn't go our way. It doesn't matter, because we find satisfaction in the activity itself, that I get to serve my object of love in any and all circumstances. And I joyfully do it.
when things don't, like you work for something, it doesn't go how you expect it to, how do you know if it's still the right path to follow or
You take guidance. Have association of people who have walked the path, who have elevated their consciousness and are symptomatic in their behavior of existing in a divine consciousness, and hear from them. Ask, how do I know I'm doing the right thing? And they'll give you solace.
One last question. When we are like tired or demotivated or just complacent, how do you remind yourself to get your work done?
Well, generally I just eat something. Yeah, just eat a mango and take a nap and you'll feel better.
Good answer.
We can take one more, so you guys can fight it out. I'm just kidding. He's a UFC fighter. I don't want anyone to. I think you were on the list, and then.
We can take some afterwards.
Yeah.
When performing or engaging in acts, or in other words, modes of goodness, there's like a flickering flame that you feel from passion. How do you organize that passion so it doesn't become like a igniting torch and it doesn't cross paths with ego? It allows you to be still in that mode of goodness, but still gradually feel that passion.
Could you ask your question in one sentence, one concise sentence?
How can you prevent yourself from crossing paths with ego from your passion?
one of the best ways of ensuring that we don't let our ego get involved is to fortify ourselves with a spiritual practice in the morning, which allows us to be introspective. Many times through the course of the day, we don't get time just to realize that we're alive and we're conscious. So having time, ideally, as early as possible in the morning, just to realize that I'm conscious. And relish that awareness and savor it and go deeper into it and cultivate it. Then as we go through the day, the temptation of ego, which is more or less just something that we take shelter of when we're not conscious of ourselves, when we lose awareness of ourselves, we'll have an elevated perspective to not want to act upon it. We won't be so inclined to act upon it. So fortify ourselves with a spiritual practice in the morning, which gives us a higher perspective of who we are and a higher perspective of our potential. And then with that strength which we gained in the morning, as the temptations of ego come, we can remain controlled in ourselves and just see this is the ego passing by. I don't need to act on it. Thank you.
I have a quick reflection, no question.
Reflections are allowed?
I'll allow it.
Okay.
Thank you. It was a genius thought. You took such a complicated topic and simplified for me, so I'm walking away with that image of offering back to the river.
Oh,
And
wonderful.
it feels so amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh.
Hare Krishna.
So let's give him a big round of applause.